NPC.
Life's rough.
When you depend on me.
To give you
weapons,
items,
armor,
armor, information for your journey, and still you just pushing and trying to hurt me. Life's tough.
When you're an NPC.
Life's rough.
When you depend.
So, last week was a hell of a week. I started off by reviewing a game that I decided to renege on due to different issues with it that I didn't really want to get into. Then I decided to do another one. Turns out I also wanted to leave that one for later after I started to get into it. And finally, it led me to Fiasco, a game by Jason Morningstar and Bully Pulpit Games, the same person who did First Ride, last week. I guess you could say last week was a fiasco all around. Last week I reviewed the game First Ride, from Jason Morningstar and Bully Pulpit Games. The game wasn't that great and relatively short read. However, after some thought, I didn't want to necessarily end things on a sour note with Morningstar. Bully Pulpit Games does have some great games out there. One of their most notable is Fiasco. The game got some serious spotlight thanks to everybody's favorite Will Wheaton, when he spotlighted it on one of his internet shows. This is by far the best work from the company. It's a fantastic game and one of the most memorable and interesting of the small-time RPGs out there today. The game is about a deal gone south. It is based off of several famous movies of the 90s and into the 2000s, some of which include Burn After Reading, Fargo, Reservoir Dogs, and so forth. The idea being a 2-act game in which you play the people working on an ultimate score or heist when suddenly everything goes to shit, and you have to figure things out from there. Which, already, I'm a huge movie buff, and you just threw out some of my favorite movies to watch, so we are in a definite Tanner ballpark. I'm already hooked on the premise itself. Even if I have minor critiques that the style of the game locks you into a particular story needing to be told, that does kind of suck that you already are preordained before the game starts to be destined to fail to some degree. However, this can be breezed past considering that if you are looking for a solid heist game, you have come to the right place, a genre that is sorely lacking in the RPG world. I mean, any game that allows me to create the clusterfuck that is Reservoir Dogs gets a plus in my book. And yeah, sure, the game has much more in common with Burn After Reading and others of that similar genre, instead of just the aftermath like Reservoir Dogs, but you get my point. The game is quite simple with the mechanics as well, which I also like. It maintains a simple D6 system. I mean, hell, most of the book is trying to make you comfortable with the source material and walking you through roles than it is digging into how to play the game itself. The game actually clocks in around 130 some odd pages, which is relatively high for indie games such as this. However, unlike, let's say, the game Synapse, which was almost 300 pages of just filler and crap, pretty much, this one is filled with a lot of useful information. It really brings you into this world. It gives you the dice system, which is relatively easy, all things considered, and most of the pages are just showing the results of what you could get from your collection of D6s. I liken this game positively to something like Spirit of 77, another game that I personally loved. Similar to Spirit of 77, the game seems to take a lot of joy in the source material and is ready to pass that joy along to the other players. Who cares if you aren't that big into the 70s or botched heist movies? Well, it doesn't really matter, because this game is fucking fun. It's here and ready to show you how fun this game could be. So you've already locked in people who are going to enjoy the game, and now you're going to bring in more people on top of that. For a game like this one, I think some of the highest praise that I can give is the fact that if you're not a fan of heist movies, that really does not matter, because you are going to enjoy this game. You might even become a fan of the genre itself by playing this game. Alright, here's the thing. With Spirit of 77, as well as Fiasco and others, games like this will always bring in those who are fans of the source material, no matter what. You will have a couple of people who will always cry foul on it. However, it's always at least going to attract those who are naturally attracted to this sort of genre and this sort of story being told. That is not in doubt. But when you can bring in non-fans and either make them fans or at least ensure that they are having a good time while they're playing, then you have done something great. Bottom line, Fiasco gets a crit. It is a fantastic game. It is well put together. The artwork is phenomenal. The mythos is well told. It is very engaging. I mean, really, what more could you want from a role-playing game? It is fantastic. And also shows that Jason Morningstar, who had a dud with First Light Last Ride, knows what he's doing and can put out phenomenal games. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more, and please go and become the patron on Patreon. Thank you so much. Have a good one.